DIY nail art on your phone case gel nail art tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I decorated this, I'll actually show it to you the proper way, this phone case, and it is mostly gel polish with some multi-surface paint as well. And I'll just go over kind of tips and tricks on painting a phone case as well as how I did this one specifically. I have made a couple other phone cases in the past, so I'll put all my phone case nail art videos in the description box below because all of them are, I don't know, I like them all a lot. So this one though is based off my little Zeta zebra logo because that's the thing that I like to have on my phone case most of the time. It's also on my laptop. It's just kind of what I do. I really like my zebra logo, that's why I created it, so it kind of goes on everything I own. So anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Gel polish works really well on a phone case because it's still flexible, yet it's really durable. So that's definitely a good thing to use if you are decorating a phone case instead of various kinds of paint or regular traditional polish, or you definitely don't want to use something that's hard like acrylic too much or a hard gel. You can use some acrylic to do 3D things, but you kind of keep it minimal. So anyways, I hope this, guys, I'll go over more of that later. I hope this helps you guys out, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
So to begin with, when you want your gel polish to really stick, you want to make sure that, especially if your case is super shiny like this one is, you need to kind of remove that shine from the areas that you're going to be painting on the outside of it with gel polish. So for the outside of it, it's just the very edge of it. That's the only thing that I have painted on the outside. Everything else is actually painted on the inside of the case, which is going to prevent chips 100%, which is an awesome thing to do. And so if you've got a case that has no texture on it at all, you can do that. If you have one that's got some texture on it, you do have to paint the outside, and it's a little bit more of a process. But just take an heat file and just very gently scratch your case, basically, is what you're doing. And then paint one side, if you're doing this outside edge, paint one side at a time with a gel polish. I'm choosing bright pink. That kind of goes with my channel, so I'm going with hot pink, and I'm going to be just painting that one edge and kind of painting over the button too, the buttons that are on the sides of it. Just go over your case and then cure it and do one side at a time. So do the whole thing in pink, but do one side in pink, cure, one side in pink, cure. It's a tedious process, believe me. It took me almost forever to do this. But then I'm going to take a very sparkly holographic silver glitter, and I'm going to be applying that over the top of my pink because I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? This could be glittery. And I thought, yes, it could. So I added glitter to it. Shocking, I know. And then apply a layer of gel top coat over the edge of this. So this actually has 4 layers of gel on the outside of it because I did 2 coats of the pink to make sure that it was opaque. Once that is done, you're going to want to flip your case over. So like I said, you're painting the inside. And when you're doing this, you have to not worry about what the image looks like on the inside. You have to worry about what the image looks like on the outside. So you start with the thing that you would normally paint last. So usually I would start with painting her white base shape, and then I would add all the details on top of that. Outline, I would do the last thing. That would be the last thing I would do. This is not the same way you want to do it. So you want to do the outline first and then fill in things layers coming up, which is such a weird process. And the first time you do it, you're like, wow, I can't believe this is going to turn out right because it looks crazy. So if you need some reassurance, you can flip your case over and make sure the process looks like it's going right. But just start with your outline. And I know that I've done this before. I painted a frog for my dad, a frog phone case. This was actually a couple years ago. And that's on my art channel. But that case had this opposite effect as well. That was the first time I did it. I was like, this is the strangest thing I've ever done in my life. But it does work out, I promise. So do all your outlines. I know that I've got a couple outlines that need some fixing, especially there's that one section in her face where I widened it, and then there's a little bit on that one shoulder. So take some isopropyl alcohol and a little cleaner brush and get rid of all of those little lines that just need to be gone. So just go ahead and clean those up. And then in this process, you may mess up some of your other outlines. You can go ahead and fix those later. But just kind of clean up anything that needs it, because painting over it to thin out your outlines is not going to do you a thing. It's going to make it look better on the inside, but not on the outside. So that kind of, it always comes back to that. So now I'm going to be touching up those outlines that like I mentioned, I over thinned. And then I'm going to be adding her eyes. So I'm going to start with just 2 little ovals basically for her eyes. And then I'm going to be adding her eyelids. And you can do everything, all of the details on her that are black, you can do those at any time. However, I actually did her nostrils before I put the black on her nose because I didn't want her face I didn't have to leave the nostrils and then fill them in. I wanted to just be able to paint over her nose area entirely. And so if you have the nostrils in place before you get that far, then you can do that. So now I've got her eyes in there, and I'm going to be taking light pink, and I'm going to be adding light pink to her ears, to the bow on her tail, which I've never added a bow on her tail before, and I thought that was really fun. And then I'm going to be adding her nostrils like I mentioned. The cool thing about when you're filling this in is you can kind of be a little sloppy about it. You don't have to make sure, like, as you can see, I had those little details on her bow, like the little, so it makes it look like there's a little 3D. I just paint over the whole thing because you can do that. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to be starting to add all of her stripes. So she's got 3 stripes on her forehead, and then 2 stripes on each cheek. And then she's got stripes that go back and forth down her body and then down her front legs. Her back legs, when you see a zebra, the inside of their legs, they don't have any stripes, they're just white. So you see the inside of her back legs, and those ones I'm just doing light gray, so they'll look like they're a little farther back. So those ones don't need any stripes, but the rest of them all need stripes. And so then after I have them in place, I just did the outlines of them first, and I'm grabbing a little thicker brush and I will fill them in. But I'm going to take and do a second coat of light pink over my light pink because it wasn't quite opaque enough. And then I added a white highlight in her eyes and then the black pupils. You got to do the highlight first and then do the black. And so yeah, it's kind of interesting. And that one pupil got a little bit too big, so I'm just going to clean it up with some more of that isopropyl. So now I'm going to go through, like I said, and I'm going to be filling in everything that's got to be black. So her forehead, or her mane, the little bit that sticks up on top, and then all of her stripes. So just go back and forth and keep filling in those stripes. And the black only needs 1 coat pretty much. You don't have to worry about doing 2 coats. However, things that are more of a pale color, so the light pink definitely is going to need 2 coats, and I think the white I may have done 3 coats on. The white looks good when it's like this, but then if you flip it over and you put it against something dark, you're going to see all these little streaks. So as you can see, I just flipped it over quick to see what I thought of her, and then I'll go through and touch anything else up. That it's kind of weird because you're seeing the mirror image. You're painting the mirror image is what you're doing. So that's kind of a different thing, and especially dependent on what you're painting. If it matters, you're going to have to really think about that because you're painting the opposite, and you're painting it completely backwards. You're painting it in, as far as steps go backwards, and you're painting it, the image is flipped. So yeah, it sounds more difficult than it is, but if you have it in your head how you're doing it and you really think it out, and if you want to, you could write out the order of steps that you would do it if you're doing it the proper way, and then just reverse it. That may help you out. So now I'm going to go over and, like I said, paint everything with white. So actually not everything quite yet. I'll get there. I did her ears and her eyes. And then I'm going to be adding the light gray in her back legs, and then just kind of like I said, I'm not doing this some of it doesn't matter so much. And then I'm going to be painting over her snout. And then you can paint over the entire zebra image with white, as long as all of your black paint is dry. If all your black paint's not dry, you don't want to do that yet. But if your black paint's dry, you can just go over it. And the thing with multi-surface paint, which is what you have to use for this, I don't know if I've mentioned that, you want to use the kind of paint that is dishwasher safe, that can go in the oven, that can be inside, outside, paint on glass. That's the kind of paint that you need to use. So it's a special kind of acrylic paint that's right with the other acrylic craft paints in the craft store. You just have to make sure that you grab the right kind. So just look on it and see if it says anything about being dishwasher safe, then you're good to go. But it takes a little longer to dry than regular craft paint, whereas that seems like it dries almost instantly. This probably takes half an hour or so per coat, half an hour to an hour, depending on how thick it is. So you may have to do a little bit on your project and then set it aside and then wait a little while, then come back, have a snack, watch a YouTube video. You can figure out something to do for a little bit while that's drying. But so as you can see, I'm adding another coat to my white, and then you have to flip it over to see how the coverage is doing. My new phone that I just got is black. So I need to make sure that the white paint is going to be completely opaque over the top of the black case. And then because it is black and I need her snout and her hooves and her tail and her mane to really show up and be different from the rest of it, I added just a little white outline around those areas that are black. So now, because a little bit of glitter on the edge was simply not enough for me, and I had the glitter sitting right next to me anyway, I decided I would add some glitter going around my Zeta. So I'm just going to be painting. I didn't waste the gel polish going over the top of her, but I did add it. I did go all the way up and a little bit over the edges, because it's not going to be seen because she's going to block it when you flip it over. But you do need to make sure that it does go all the way up. And before you put the gel polish on there, make sure that the multi-surface paint is 100% dried. Wait a couple hours. So put your glitter gel polish in there, cure it, and then put a layer of top coat over it. If you've got a one-step gel, you don't have to worry about that because it's good to go. Otherwise, it's got that tacky layer, so you gotta make sure that you cap that in. But then it is all set. I love the way this looks, and the silver hollow glitter that I used is stunning. So this is probably my new favorite phone case that I've ever done. It's fabulous. I'm so happy about it. I hope you guys like this design, and please share any recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!